what's good, Commanders fans? So training camp day 8 tonight. We have preseason football. Even though it's going to be Zach Wilson starting at quarterback versus Kellen Mond, I'm still excited to see any kind of football. So before I get to play-by-play, of course, those are some clips. Shout out to my guy Mason Kenahan. Shout out to his podcast as well. I should be hopping on this podcast pretty soon. Keeping Up with the Commanders podcast every Monday at 6 a.m. So check him out. He's been putting up all the videos, all the content at Commanders Training Camp. So shout out to him. Definitely want to give him his credit for sure. He's been killing it every day at training camp. So before I get into the play-by-play, I think one of the plays, the clips was a Sam Howell pass to Terry McLaurin, and then another one was a pass to Jahan Dotson, where I heard that he looked pretty darn good today. He looked pretty darn good. Even though they played against the second string and third string guys at times, there are no pads on today, but Sam Howell looked pretty darn good. So I'm happy to hear that for sure. So for Prize Picks, shout out to Prize Picks. Make sure you guys check out Prize Picks. Using my promo code REAL@Oliver, you use the link down below in the description. You get a 100% deposit match up to $100 using my promo code for first-time users. Tonight for preseason, my picks tonight, Zach Wilson. I know he was awful last year, but I got him getting over 67.5 passing yards. And Dorian Thompson-Robinson out of UCLA, the rookie quarterback, I have him getting over 93.5 passing yards. The only reason why is because it's preseason. They're going to be going up against second and third string guys. I know Zach Wilson is not a good quarterback at this point. Pretty darn bad. He was one of the worst quarterbacks in the league last year. Got benched for Mike White. And then Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he's more of a running quarterback, a scrambling quarterback. But it's second and third string guys. It could go either way, but I got him going over 93.5 passing yards for tonight. Alex Erickson is on the Jets too, so look out for him. I could hit an over in receiving yards for him. And then David Bell, the receiver for the Browns, I could see him getting over on his passing yards as well. 26.5 receiving yards. I think that's pretty low for him. I think he could go over on that. So, all right, let's get into the play-by-play here. So, no pass today. David Bada, unfortunately, tore his triceps in practice on Wednesday. So, that is pretty darn unfortunate there for him. Let me pull up the tweets here. Yeah, let me pull up the tweets here. I don't know why my computer just refreshed like that. But unfortunately, David Bada tore his triceps on Wednesday. So we'll see how long he's going to be out. But he's been on the roster for like forever from the international program. This from John Kam. Offensive guard Sadiq Charles is at practice today. Missed Wednesday with a calf strain. Not sure yet how much he'll do today. Chris Paul with the ones early work. So like I said, I'm not panicking over Sadiq Charles. If he's not ready to go, it is what it is. It's been that way the last couple of seasons. So, and you know, it's not his fault he got hurt, but he's just a guy that you can't really trust. So he's been here, what is this, year 4 now? You know, him and AGG are drafted in the same class. AGG's no longer here. Both 4th round picks. Sadiq, you know, was a left tackle at LSU. Now they moved him into guard. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy, man. And we're relying on him or Chris Paul to start. So it's just, you can't really trust Sadiq Charles to really stay healthy at this point. And a couple of guys on the offensive line as well. Not just him. My guy Mason says, Sam Howell started off 11 versus 11 with 2 deep shots to Jahan Dotson and De'Ami Brown. Both were perfect. So that's good to hear from Sam Howell with the accuracy. And he throws a good deep pass, man. He does. Look at the Cowboys game. Threw a really good deep pass to Jahan and Terry in that game. And then look at him at USC throwing the ball to De'Ami Brown. So he has really good accuracy down the field. Zach Selby says, definitely a lighter vibe today at practice with starters versus backups in 11-on-11 drills. That said, Sam Howell had some sharp passes to Jahan Dotson and De'Ami Brown down the field. Ben Sanders says, Sam Howell uncorked 2 accurate deep passes, 2 deep shots to Jahan Dotson and De'Ami Brown, third-team defense, but still positive vibes. Mason also says, Sam Howell 4 for 4 on deep passes so far. Second 11 versus 11 session has begun, and this is mainly just running the ball. All the running backs still first team offense versus second team defense today. Mason also says offensive line has done a better job, especially on run play so far. Now, it is against backups, yes, but it builds confidence moving forward. So we'll take anything positive from the offensive line right now. We'll take anything positive. Like I said, I am concerned about the offensive line. Charles Leno struggled against Kayvon Thibodeau last year in 2 big games that we needed against the Giants. And then Nick Gates with a terrible injury at FedEx Field and then played 10 games last year. Sadiq Charles not being trustworthy as far as staying healthy. And then Chris Paul only playing in 1 game last year or starting in 1 game last year. And then Andrew Wiley did give up a lot of pressures and sacks last year, but I do think he is a solid right tackle in the league. Sam Cosmi, once again, had that big bandage on his right hand last year, so he's been in and out of the lineup. So it's just a lot of moving pieces and a lot of moving parts with this offensive line for sure. And Nick Gates has been snapping the football high in practice from what I've heard as well. But that's the time to kind of get the bad stuff out of your system in practice. Mason says Jerome Payne just got in the face of Jacoby Brissett and forced him to overthrow a pass to Kyrick McGowan, picked off by Kam Curl. So Kam Curl's been making plays. That's the only thing that's really holding him back. I'm not even going to say holding him back, but that's just the one thing that we can see improvement from. Now, he is doing his job. People aren't even throwing to his side because he's shutting it down at times. When he's out there, the defense is better than him. Him and Derek Forrest are one of the highest rated Pro Football Focus safeties in the league last year. He's always in the right spot at the right time. But I do want to see him force fumbles. I do want to see him get interceptions. I do want to see him flip the field like Derek Forrest started to last year with forced fumbles, the punch against the Eagles, the interception against the Texans, the interception against the Jaguars. So Derek Forrest just has a knack of making plays and being there at the right time. And Kam Curl does that too, but I do want to see him force turnovers. All right, John Keim has said that Mason Brooks has looked better than Braden Daniels out there. Mason Brooks has definitely been a standout and not a shock, but somewhat of a surprise, man. Mason Brooks out of Ole Miss has been making plays. I think he's going to make the roster, honestly. I think he's going to make the roster, and I really think he can. I'm not going to say start, but knock on wood, if injuries do pop up, I could see him. I could see him getting some playing time and maybe start, in a couple games this season. So I wouldn't be surprised, but. Mason Brooks is making some noise out there for sure. When he beat Fedarian Mathis on 2 reps on the one-on-ones, he basically dominated Fedarian Mathis out of Alabama. And that was SEC versus SEC, so they probably played against each other before. Mason said very intriguing matchup I've been watching so far is Braden Daniels versus KJ Henry. The 4th and 5th round picks have been going at it, and so far I would say KJ Henry is having the better day. Mason Brooks, I already talked about him. Mason also says Sam Howell just threw a beautiful deep ball to the left corner of the end zone to De'Ami Brown. So the Sam Howell connection to De'Ami Brown is certainly still strong. Jamal from Let Maul Tell Us has heard JP Finley mention this morning that a couple of defensive linemen told him that they felt Chris Paul is the best guard on the team. Floating this back on the timeline from the Dallas game, thought he had a good chance after breaking down his debut versus Dallas. So that's all right. I mean, Sam Cosmi is our other guard. And then other than that, we don't really have a lot of guards on the roster. I mean, you got Mason Brooks can play guard, and Nick Gates can kind of swing and play guard at times. Braden Daniels can play guard. He's interchangeable. He'll probably have to switch into guard. So we don't have a lot of guard depth. Sam Cosmi is a right tackle moving into guard. So we don't have a lot of guards on the roster. So it's yet to be seen that Chris Paul is the best guard on the roster. We'll see about that. Mason says, I know everyone is running at half speed today, but Howell has been very accurate so far. So it's good to, even though it is half speed, if he was bad, then people would definitely talk about it. So they did some trick plays out there. Logan Thomas was throwing the football around a little bit out there. He played quarterback at Virginia Tech, so they're trying some trick plays. Maybe we see some trick plays in the red zone, something like that. Ron Rivera, so you already said, we already talked about David Bada being injured. Ron Rivera addressed the media today and said the competition at left guard has been going well. Sadiq Charles has been dealing with a minor calf injury, so Chris Paul has taken all the reps with the starters. So it is a minor calf injury, so I wouldn't panic too much. Nick Kearns was out there on Twitter. Nick Kearns says camp was a success. Curl had a pick against Jacoby Brissett. Howell looked flawless. Marcus Kemp had a nice leaping grab over the defender during a red zone drill. Starting defensive line looks as expected. So Curtis Samuel was at the mic today, and of course Ron Rivera was at the mic today too. Curtis Samuel was kind of joking around about Beyonce and stuff like that. Kendall Fuller was at the mic today too. So a light practice today. So I'll keep this video light and pretty short as well. And then Sam Howell did hit Cole Turner on a nice play as well. So all right, you guys, I'll probably see you guys tomorrow, and we'll recap the prize picks tomorrow. You guys have a good one. Hail to the Commanders. Peace.